Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about how you can keep your car looking like new for years down the road. You know, you could pay a professional detailer hundreds of dollars and in a day they'll do it for you. But you can also do it yourself, save all the money, and basically take pride in having a job well done yourself. I'm going to be showing you how I do it. The processes that I've used are things that I've learned over the years. I've been doing my own cars for a number of years now, and I'm going to show you how I do it and what you'll need in order to do it yourself. And we're going to be looking at some of the techniques that you can use in that process. The car we're doing it on is a good candidate for this because this car is 9 years old. I've polished this car before. I've done it before. It's been over a year since it was done, and it does need a good detailing. So it's a good candidate for this video. So we have a three-step process I'm going to do. We're going to use a clay bar first, then we're going to get the polisher out. We're going to use polishing compound with a polishing machine, and then we're going to go over it with wax to protect it. So let's take a look at the car, go around and take a look at the body of the car and see kind of what we're working with on this car, and then we'll get started. So this car is a 2012 Hyundai Sonata, and it basically lives outdoors. It does not have a garage, so the paint is exposed to all the elements like sun, rain, dirt, all kinds of dirt. And the paint is in pretty good shape. It's not real heavily oxidized. It does get washed pretty much weekly. And with the exception of, see, most of the paint is actually pretty good. This is just the door edge moldings. You can't really do anything about that but remove them and replace them. There are a couple of door dings here and there, but there really isn't a lot of oxidation on this paint, and that's good. It's not too badly oxidized. Basically, what you see in a lot of these older cars, you see where the paint turns white. Of course, it is hard to see that on a lighter colored paint like this. Let's move around here. It's harder to see it with a lighter color paint, but the oxidation would still be there if it does get oxidized, and that needs to be removed in order to bring out the shine. You have a couple of chips right there, and the roof is another area that really tends to get oxidized quite a bit because it faces the direct sun. And there's a little bit of it. If you have a lighter color car, you can tell if you have oxidation by rubbing your hand over the paint, and you can feel if there's any roughness on the paint. I feel a little bit, but it's not too bad. Now, I did wash the car just prior to making this video, so we do need to start with a clean car, getting all the dirt off. Okay, so we're going to start up here on the roof of the car. First step is we're going to use a clay bar. Now what this is basically nothing more than clay. It comes in a little jar like this. What we're going to do is we're going to be rubbing this all over the paint. And this is going to pick up some dirt, oxidation that's in the paint. It's going to pick up these different things that's in the paint. But what you need to do, and this is really important, is to lubricate the clay and the surface of the car. You don't want to rub this dry clay over paint because it'll stick on it. So what I've got here is just a plain water bottle filled with water. I'm going to spray the paint, I'm going to spray the clay, and I'm going to do a small area, probably divide the roof into quarters here. And I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to go over it with a microfiber and dry the water off. Here's how we do it. you got to keep making it wet as you go, because you don't want it to dry. Just like that. Now you want to make sure that you don't drop this clay on the ground, because it'll pick up dirt wherever you drop it. So I use the cap of the container to keep the clay there. Now we are going to wipe it down. Now what you'll notice after you do this, and after you dry the section that you've just done, is when you wipe your hand across it, you'll notice that it feels very smooth. This is because you've removed any oxidation or any dirt that's in there, and this means that basically you got it and did a good job on one segment. You can also tell by looking at it that there's nothing left in the paint. Now we'll move on to the next section. We're going to lubricate the clay very well, and also the surface of the car, and constantly be adding more water. Okay. Now we're going to dry it off a little bit before we do the other part of it. And so if your piece of clay gets dirty, you can just fold it over, tear a piece of it off, do various different things to mold it and shape it and get the dirty part away from the car paint, and then continue on. Now also I should mention that if you have pinstripes or decals or black plastic anywhere on your car, you are going to want to avoid those areas. You don't want to clay those. They're plastic and they're not painted. They're not meant to be clayed. So I'm going to be real careful and not go near this pinstripe right there. I'm going to avoid the pinstripe. So we're up here at the front bumper, and this is always going to be the most difficult part of the car to polish and to get properly detailed because of the bugs. All kinds of dirt hits it from the front. We've got paint chips, which are not going to come out. We've got some bug residue that might come out. Feels a little bit rough up front, but this whole area is one that is always difficult to clean. So we're going to go ahead and clay bar this part, same as the rest of it. now that we've done step one and we have clay barred the entire car, we've got everything smooth all over on the car. Step two, we're going to get out our polisher. We're going to go for some polishing compound. This particular one is a Chicago Electric, picked it up at Harbor Freight Tools, and it's got variable speeds, which is a feature that you want to look for if you buy one. And you'll be assembling the head onto the top part with there's a nut, and then you've got your polishing pads. And there's different types of polishing pads depending on what you're planning on doing, whether it's polish or rubbing compound or wax. This particular one is thick, and it's made more for polishing. So these basic ones are like Velcro, and basically we put it on. Now some people don't like using the Velcro type. They say that there's a chance it can fly off, but I've never had one fly off. So it's on there pretty good. And then, of course, after you're done with it, these pads can be reused. After you're done, you can wash them, go inside and wash them. We're going to be using some turtle wax polishing compound here. I'm going to shake it up real good. What we're going to do is we're going to put some dots of it on a pad. Then we're going to pat it around in different areas. Then when we start, we're going to go with a low speed just to kind of spread it out. And then we're going to increase the speed. Now when you're using one of these, you don't need to use a lot of force on it. Let the machine do it for you. Let the machine do the work. You don't have to press down or go real heavy on it. There's really no need for that. It'll do the work just fine. So let's go ahead and like that. And just like with the clay, we're only going to do one section at a time. So we're going to start here with the hood, and I'm going to do only up to this crease line. I'm going to do this portion of the hood first. All right. And now we're going to increase the speed. So basically the point is, when you're doing this, you want to keep the polisher moving. You want to keep it moving across the paint, not stay in one spot, and just let the motor do its work. You know, spreading the polish around. Now we can take our microfiber, and you want to always use microfiber on cars, and we're gonna wipe off the excess here. Alright, so we've completed half of the hood, and unfortunately it's not sunny today, so I can't show you how it shines in the sun, but getting up close with the paint here, it's really smooth. Got a really nicely polished finish on this side all the way down. And we do have some rock chips right there. That's going to need some touch-up paint, but this is the result of polishing your paint. And if you go over here, now it's smoother on this side. If your car has any black plastic trim or like the stuff they put around the wheel openings on SUVs, or decals, or plastic trim like this along the roof, you're going to want to cover it, because you don't want to get any polish on this plastic. It'll be almost impossible to get it off. It'll discolor it. So what I recommend is painter's tape. This stuff will not hurt the finish on the plastic. And it won't hurt the paint either. And then you won't have to worry about where you're going with the polisher. So we're going to put some tape over it. So I've cut several pieces of painter's tape. This is the kind of tape they would use to mask off body when they do painting on cars. And so that should keep the plastic protected. Now we're going to go ahead and use our polishing compound on the roof. We're going to do it the same as we did on the hood. We're going to do a portion of the roof at a time. We'll probably divide the roof into quarters. Put a small, several dots on the pad. Like that. And block them around. And then set the speed for slow, and here we go.
So now that we're done with polishing, I've gone ahead and changed the pad on here to one that we can use for waxing to protect the finish. I'm using Mcguire's cleaner wax, and we're going to do it basically the exact same way that we did the other one. We're going to put it on here, 4 or 5 dots on here. We're going to do one section at a time. We're going to start out with a slow speed, and we're going to increase the speed as we go along. And you do this the exact same way that you did the other. So let's go ahead and get started.
We're back. It's a new day, the sun's out, the rain is gone, and after being interrupted by rain last time, we can go ahead and finish the rest of the job. I've actually had to go and rewash the car to get any of the rain, dirt from the rain off of it, and it cleans up easily and real nicely on the parts that are done. We're going to go ahead and do the rest of it now. One thing I do want to talk about first are plastic headlight lenses. You've probably seen older cars with badly faded headlight lenses that look cloudy. And what that is oxidation in the plastic. And there are headlight restoration kits that you can buy in a store, which is really nothing more than sandpaper, because what you're doing is you're going to be sanding off the oxidized surface of the clear plastic. But what I found is if your lenses are not too badly oxidized, you can actually restore them with just plain car polish and a regular electric polisher. And I'm going to demonstrate that right here. In fact, I'm going to put up a side-by-side picture. I've already done the driver's side, and side-by-side with the passenger side, which is original, and you can see that there is a visible difference. The driver's side lens is much clearer. The passenger side is showing a little bit of oxidation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start, we've got the fender, and we're going to start with the headlight lens on this side. And the process for doing this is the same as anything else that you would do on the car. I'm using a fine polishing pad and polishing compound. Now that's a much improved finish over what it was before. It's not going to be perfect. There are going to be some deeper scratches in here. What you can do is you can use a coarse polishing pad. I'm using a fine polishing pad. A coarse one will give you a little bit more cut to get some of those deeper scratches, or you know, if it's too badly scratched and oxidized, then you may very well need a headlight restoration kit, which usually includes a sandpaper disc along with a chemical and a finishing polishing disc to finish it with. But this is an improvement over what it was before. So now we're moving back to the passenger door, and what I've done is I've gone and put some painter's tape across this pinstripe here because I don't want to get any polish on the pinstripe. And like I mentioned before, if you have any black plastic, pinstripes, decals, anything of that sort, you want to try to protect it because these are only tape, and this polisher could tear that. So we're all protected there. We don't have anything else going here. Actually, there is one area that I do want to put some additional protection on, and that would be the plastic splash guard behind the wheel. So we're going to go ahead and put that like that. Okay, so now we've covered all the plastic down there, and we're ready to start. One thing you don't want to overlook when you're doing a job like this, if your car has painted rear view mirrors, you want to polish these as well, because they are painted with the clear coat just like the rest of the car. They can fade and they can get small cracks on them. And after we're done going over it, we take our microfiber towel, always with the microfiber, and wipe off any remaining polish, which there shouldn't be very much. And it should reveal a really nice, smooth shine. Now, one other tip when you're doing your car, and this is one area that can easily be overlooked as well, is the rocker panel. The rocker panels on the bottom. Now, if you have an SUV or a truck, these may be covered by black plastic, but on a car, on a regular car like this, it's painted the same color as the rest of the body. And when you're doing the polishing, you want to always make sure you get down here and take it underneath, because this area does get beat up with a lot of dirt. It gets the brunt of the dirt as you drive. So I'm actually going to go over that part once more. Alright, so now we're back here at the rear bumper, and like I said earlier, this is one area that does pick up a lot of oxidation on the paint, particularly on the upper surfaces that face more into the sun, like these areas. But they can also get scratches and also get dirt thrown up down here. So we're going to go ahead and get this rear bumper a good polish. So we got some polish on the pad, and you also want to remember too to keep this surface of the pad flat against the paint. You want to always try to keep it flat against the paint. And of course, don't forget to get these areas underneath here. now that we're done with the polishing part, we can take off this polishing pad. You can see, you know, the dirt that the polishing pad has picked up off the paint. Now we're going to go ahead and swap. We're going to put our waxing pad on, and we're going to go ahead and give it a coat of wax to protect it now that we've finished polishing it. So these pads just come off like that. And this pad has been cleaned since the last time I used it. There we go. And now we're all set to do some wax, to do the remaining waxing on this side that we didn't do the last time. So there you go. We're all done. We've got the car polished and waxed, and a beautiful, smooth paint finish, and almost had a little bird dropping there, but it came out real nice. The headlight housings are better than they were before. They're less clouded than they were before, so that's good. And it really looks good. So this is an example of what you can do to keep an older car looking like new for a long time to come. This car is 9 years old, like I said, and it has lived outdoors under the sun, the rain, all the elements. You know, for 9 years. It doesn't have that many miles on it, but still, there are a few areas that would still need some more attention. The wheels, the clear coat is kind of delaminating from the wheels, and got a few rock chips here and there, a few chips on the front bumper. Some things that would need some touch-up paint, but all in all, it looks real nice in the sun. And so hopefully this video showed you some good tips that you can use yourself wherever you are. These are some things that I've been practicing over the years, and things that have worked for me. And yeah, so
So if you found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, and keep watching for the next video. See you next time.